dispersions on the prior 14 or 15, but they could learn a lot from this meeting. That was cool. That's what these meetings should be like in this environment. If we can't be in front of each other and talking, and there should be something to lighten the mood and bring everything down. That was great. Zola was great. I caught especially the Tracy Chapman. That was great. So yes, as Andy said, my name is TC McCourt. I am, as of now, the sole Democrat running for county commissioner this year. I'm hoping that in the next 3 weeks that changes, but right now it is me. And I'm glad that Andy was able to give me some time tonight to introduce myself to you guys, talk a little bit about the campaign. As you can tell pretty quickly when I start to talk, I'm not from here. I was born and raised in Central Virginia, lived there until 2014. And I grew up in a household that was very much surrounded by public service. Public service was really at the core of who we were as a family. All three of my grandfathers served in World War II. One of them was a Purple Heart recipient. My grandmother drove a school bus for special needs children for the local school district for 35 years, working well into her 70s. My mom was active in youth sports and in the PTA for all of us. And my dad was a police officer for 26 years. And it was through their service that I learned a lot. I learned what it means to listen to people, what it means to learn from people, especially people you don't agree with, and really just the sheer joy that comes from giving back to your community, however you choose to do that. And I took that public service mindset to college. I got a degree in political science and parlayed that into my first real job, which was actually in the office of Virginia's 71st governor, working in the Office of Constituent Services. And that job was, to be quite honest, something I never thought I would have, the opportunity to have, let alone want to have. Anybody who's been around government knows just how hard constituent service work really is, but at the same time, incredibly rewarding. And it didn't matter who called, it didn't matter what issue came before us. Your political party didn't matter. If we could fix your problem or at least point you in the right direction, we did. And really, I think that's what government's job is. It's to help those who can't help themselves, regardless of anything else beneath the surface. I moved to New Jersey, as I said, in 2014, took a job in the private sector. Still work in the private sector. I work for a cable and wire manufacturer based out of Union County. My now husband, Brian, and I settled in Elizabeth. We lived there for 4 years, then got married in 2017 and moved to Dover in 2018. In between all that, I went back to school and got my master's in public administration. When I moved to Dover, as I do with pretty much anything, I hit the ground running. Really just wanted to get involved as quickly as I could. I had always had an interest in planning issues, so I noticed that there were some vacancies on the planning board. I inquired about that and was appointed as an alternate first to the planning board in the summer of 2018, and then appointed to a regular term that January. I still serve on the planning board. I've also, in the last year, I've been appointed to the Morris County Heritage Commission. I'm a history nerd. I love historical places, events, things, artifacts, and I'm happy to be able to, put that to use in a good way, not just for me and getting to exercise that interest, but as for the county residents as well. The reason why I'm running for county commissioner is pretty simple. I think we all see a changing Morris County. I think we all believe that it is changing for the better, but our government is not changing with it. And they have been stuck in the mud for too long. we've been represented by the same kinds of people with the same ideas for almost 50 years. And that one-party rule has left an entire generation of voices ignored, an entire set of ideas pushed back, and they view what I believe is a growing, diverse county. I view that as an asset. I think they view it as a problem. I think they view it as something to fix, and that is not what we need in elected officials. You know, I'm going to run a campaign that's maybe a little different than other countywide campaigns in the past. I am a proud progressive. I'm a proud liberal. I'm going to campaign as such, but I'm also going to campaign on bold ideas, because I believe that in order to win this race, whether it's me, just me, whether it's me and one person, me and two people, whether we win, it's going to be because we gave people some real choices and the feeling like they have a say in their future. So that means we're going to talk about some issues that maybe prior campaigns haven't talked about. We're going to talk about what I see as a glaring misdirection of priorities in our county budget, and how maybe some of the 70 million and plus that we spend on public safety could be reallocated to more people-focused issues, social services issues, things like homelessness and food insecurity and housing, affordable housing. We're going to talk about how I believe that Morris County can be a leader on environmental issues, not a follower, and certainly not an obstacle. We're going to push for not just the current level of transparency that we have into board meetings, which was forced on them by COVID, but increasing and maintaining that level of transparency through translation services, through continued Zoom capabilities, live streaming. You know, before COVID, all you got was a audio file unless you went, and you really miss out on the dynamics of the board when you can't see them in person. You miss out on how they treat people that come before them that they don't agree with, which really goes back to, you know, what I said in the beginning about one of the core reasons why I'm running. It's because I want to hear from everybody, not just the ones that I agree with. And we're going to talk about broadly how I see them having failed to set up Morris County's future generations for success through a lack of true and focused economic development, a lack of identity. We're not giving our young people a reason to come back here after college. And the one thing I've learned over many years being involved in youth issues is we have to do that. They're not just going to come home to come home. They're either going to come home because they've got no other choice, or because they were drawn back. And we've got to give them a reason to come back here and to build on, you know, what prior generations have made into a great place to live, and make it grow and evolve with future generations. But the truth is, not many people really know what a county commissioner is. So a large part of the campaign is going to have to be focused on educating voters on the nuts and bolts of the position, why it's important, just how much of an impact it has on your daily life, and why they need to vote for Democrats. You know, I think that the national political landscape has changed things quite a bit here in Morris County. I was just looking at the voter registration data this morning for the second month, well, at least for the second month in a row, third month in a row. The Republican number has dropped and continues to drop. The gap between Republicans and Democrats is now below 20,000. When you look at that and you look at the drop off in 2020 between people who voted for president and people who voted for freeholder, there is opportunity there. There's opportunity to build on the momentum that people like Darcy Drager and Rupondi Mehta and Carrie Amaro put in place in Morris County last year, and close that gap even further. I'm not naive. This is going to be tough. It's going to be especially tough if it's just me versus 3. But as I've learned many times over 31 years, there's nothing worth fighting for that isn't hard. And I'm looking forward to a really exciting campaign, getting to campaign alongside a bunch of great municipal candidates, which I know Andy has in Mount Olive, and really looking forward to taking this message of bold change for a better Morris County future to all of our residents. And I really look forward to working with all of you directly more, hopefully in person, in the not too distant future. So thank you again, Andy, for the opportunity to speak, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody